Hi, I may not be who you're expecting. I am not kolpeshtheyardstick. I am actually the wife of kolpeshtheyardstick. Well, the words of the wife of kolpeshtheyardstick speaking through kolpeshtheyardstick. You may refer to me henceforth as Ghost Wife. That would be because I am ghostwriting this video that you're watching right now. And I may write a few more in the future, but this is the first one. So let us know what you think. Now that I've told you, I suppose it's not really ghostwriting, but the word ghostwriting is like just so much cooler than me saying I wrote this and now Kolpesh is going to read it to you. I'd love to appear in person and speak to you directly and not have all this, but the fact of the matter is that I know I'm not ready for that. You evaluate kolpeshtheyardstick on his content and the occasional well-deserved compliment on the halo of his hair, but I know that my appearance would initiate a beauty contest in which I am the only contestant. Even if you guys are nice and supportive and cool, I'm just not ready for it. That's why I've asked Kolpesh to draw what I look like instead. Here it is, but I haven't drawn anything. Oh, there it is. Since you can't see me though, I figured I'd change a few little tiny things to make myself at home, like a poltergeist flinging a beloved family portrait across the room. I'm just doing a little rearranging.
Nice.
Anyway, I was in a hankering. We were looking for a video essay. I love video essays. I love video games. I love cozy video games. So I wanted a video essay about cozy video games, but no searching on the part of myself or my partner could yield what we were looking for. So, of course, I'm writing this video. And all we could find was ranking lists or videos recommending cozy games, but no like analytical videos discussing or discovering the beauty, the inner workings of the magic that is a cozy game. It's a topic that I'm weirdly passionate about, and woe be upon thee who thought I could keep my mouth shut about them. Since the dawn of gaming, some of the most popular titles of the medium have been about violence, war, action, high stakes, speed, skill, domination, very aggressive, competitive types of game. Cozy games took a look at all those concepts, gave a, that's nice, sweetie, picked up a watering can and went on his merry little way. Cozy games, in a way, blatantly threw out everything that gamers and gaming culture have been so proud of. Cozy games are often slow-paced, low risk, and with an emphasis on not achievement, but the feelings you get while playing it, the feelings you have for the characters and the storyline, the feeling of being safe. Cozy. Project Horseshoe did this crazy impressive report back in 2017 defining what a cozy game is and how one really can be defined as such. They determined that cozy games motivate players on a not urgent but important model. Take Stardew Valley as an example of this, an indie farming simulator which rocked the gaming world back in 2016 and, in my opinion, launched the cozy game genre into the soft, aesthetically pleasing light. But I'll get more into the history later. In Stardew Valley, the game progresses in days, months, years. No fine motor skills are needed to water your crops.
Time for the left-handed oil test. No big problem lefty or righty, pretty much equal amount of effort. So in terms of usability, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. It works well. I'm a little concerned about cleanup.
And it's okay if you want to go mining tomorrow. You can form relationships, you can get married, but it doesn't matter if you want to start getting your funky farmer groove on day 1 or year 5. It is important to the game's experience that you farm, collect, communicate, and explore, but when you do that, it is pretty flexible. According to Project Horseshoe, cozy games are built on 3 things. Safety, the absence of serious risk. In cozy games, you cannot just die and lose everything in one go. Sometimes characters and their belongings can't even be harmed at all. Abundance. having enough in-game resources to splurge. Now, this is actually super important. It's abundantly important in many conventional video games, and all too often in real life, resources are scarce. A large amount of time is spent just trying to get to the next level, the next day. In cozy games, you get to live out your greatest escapism, daydream, ultra fantasy of having enough time and resources to have a home, decorate it how you like, engage with hobbies and community just for the simple sake of pleasure. Shit, that is a low bar.
What am I doing with my life?
And finally, softness. They're just so cute. I mean, look at this game. Look with your eyes. Cuteness is something that has pretty much been devoid from adult gaming. I mean, sure, you can argue that Mario and Pikachu are cute, but Waluigi is a sexual deity, and Pikachu is out here fighting for his life.
I'm Ashley with Watch Mojo, and these are the top 20 saddest deaths in anime.
Those of us who have played Pokemon not for the collection, but for finding the cutest Pokemon in the land and bonding with them are thriving in this era of coziness, where we get to take our little mice home and make cupcakes without a care in the world. Skyrim stole our souls, and you can't throw a rock in a gaming store without hitting someone who's currently pouring just hundreds of hours into a first-person shooter. Esports are on a steady Icarus flight into the pixelated sun, and if you have a video of you completing a speed run successfully, congratulations, you just earned your doctorate in gaming. It really is just an honor to watch you work. So why, in this world of prestige and action, are people slowing down to fish?
Catch confirmed.
For hours? Kolpesh and I have been really wanting a full-size mirror, but with the potential move in the future, we're scared to spend any money on anything unnecessary. But you know what? I can buy a mirror in The Sims. I can afford a room full of mirror in The Sims, and I can buy whatever outfits I want and wear those outfits and admire my style in a room full of mirrors and hang out with my friends at the click of a button. All the challenges that Ghostwife faces in real life she can do with fairy wings and magic hands in a video game. Cozy games fulfill the peak of Maslow's hierarchy of needs that is left empty by real life. They make us feel cozy when the world is not. Look, that might sound like a stretch, but hear me out. Cozy games start with a baseline feeling of safety. Build you up through intimate relationships, make you feel accomplished, and engage you in expressive, creative activities. And let's be honest, that is not the only reason that people play games in this genre, although it should be, because what more do you want than achieving total self-actualization with the boys? There's some other magic afoot here too that attracts others and myself to this genre time and time again. Bullying people in the gaming community for playing on easy mode is a real thing. The games themselves might not openly mock people for selecting easy mode, but we've all seen the descriptions. Easy mode, for those who like a story-driven experience. Enemy damage reduced by 50%. And
Hard mode for the beast ready to rip out their own teeth to bite their opponents with their fingers!
it feels a lot like, you know what it feels like? It feels like men's shampoo bottle. Like, it's not enough that you get clean. You have to feel like you're showering after you just finished chainsaw carving a giant fist that's crushing the skull of a bald eagle. It's not enough to beat the game. You have to feel like you're the baddest baddie out there. Now, don't get me wrong, it's so cool watching Kolpesh play Elden Ring. I'm astounded when I see him decimate a roguelike. We've been playing video games for the same amount of time and with the same amount of dedication, but when we play Spiritfarer, there were so many times he had to stop and watch me fail over and over and over again to make the simple platform jump. But that's the key. He got to watch me try again. As long as he and I were both patient, we could do it. It was low risk, it was safe. It was cozy. Compare that to, say, Hollow Knight. Another platformer that's just so cute, and I wanted so badly to play it, but I'm not good enough. I can't get through it because I don't have the skill for it. If I mess up too much, I fail. There's real punishment and heartache wrapped up in each failure, and after a while, it's just too difficult to complete. There are a lot of games like this that I just can't do, and I think that's a shame for a lot of reasons. Not just because I'd love to play a game about an adorable bug night in a spooky bug city, but because I'm sure other people like me would have loved to as well. Those are stories we will never get to know firsthand unless we acquire the coveted Get Good award. Cozy games just don't have this barrier. Gris was my first ever platformer, and I loved it. I truly, amazingly loved it. It was visually stunning, the story was moving, the gameplay felt good, and in my opinion, it was a very cozy game. I progressed at a nice, happy pace because I wanted to. But I also fell a lot, like all the time. A game Kolpesh probably could have hopped through was a big skill challenge for me, and I can guarantee you right now I never would have finished it had dying been a mechanic. So, in my humble proposal, I think more games should feature a way to turn off player death. And every game should have an easy mode. Now, I know this is where a lot of people disagree. Some games are meant to be hard, even to skilled players. In some ways, the difficulty is part of the heart of the game itself, and alright, I really can respect that argument. Every game doesn't have to be for everyone, but if you're a game designer out there, think about that question. Who do you want to play your game? Who is your target demographic? Do you truly want it to be a game that anyone who is interested can play? If the answer is yes, then it's not about whether or not it should have an easy mode. It must have an easy mode. In a side tangent, there are some amazing developers out there doing some incredible stuff with accessibility in gaming, both physical and mental, allowing people of all shapes and sizes to get into gaming like never before. Maybe one day I'll make a video on that too, because it really is incredible how some gamers with disabilities have made a place for themselves in the community, and how some game designers are taking note and responding in kind. Uh-oh. Here we go. Cozy games are feminine games. Please note that when I say this, I don't necessarily mean that they are for or by women, but that their themes and goals are traditionally feminine in feeling. Remember what I said earlier, that these games usually focus around feelings? This emphasis on heart is a big deal, and something that's absent from many traditional titles.
Many older game designs use pop science motivational paradigms that are biased towards Western, individualistic, and masculine perspectives. In many cases, the underlying psychological models were derived by either sampling only young college-aged men, animal experiments, or by actively throwing out data from groups that didn't fit a particular hypothesis. From a business perspective, they fail to robustly describe motivations of women, people from non-Western countries, older adults, or people with children.
So let's go back to Skyrim. I talk about this game a lot because it's one of my all-time favorites, and because it's Skyrim. But I realized the other day, I told someone that Skyrim was my first real video game and my break into gaming. But that's not true. I've been playing video games since I was a kid. Kelly Club Pet Parade was my church, and Girls Go to Games owned my school hours. I played Pokemon, Sims, Paws and Claws Pet School, Zoo Tycoon, and a whole plethora of other PC games, yet I didn't consider myself a gamer until I got a PS4 and played Skyrim, because that's what the boys were doing. Those are games men played. Why did I love Skyrim so much? For the dragons, the magic, the elves, and to be a filthy, filthy little sneak thief with my sewer family. Yeah, sure. But what kept me playing was the glimpses of coziness and feminine feelings I got too. You could get married, have a home, have pets, have a garden, make food, and even have kids, or weird singing roommates if you wanted to. I loved Skyrim because it gave me both. Nothing makes a feelings-focused person prouder than returning home from her 9 to 5 as a dragon-slaying, dual-wielding archmage and making a few snowberry tarts and decorating her estate. Skyrim contained pockets of coziness, but to have entire cozy games, oh boy! Adult Ghost Wife is thriving in an era where I can tell people I'm putting hundreds of hours into a game about living on a chibi island growing pumpkins for my animal friends and getting looks of normal recognition from my male friends. No sneers, no laughs, More often than not these days, they have just as many hours as me. Project Horseshoe's report, yet again, they broke it down into new and old models. The new being cozy and feminine, while the old is masculine. The old motivators are fight or flight, zero-sum economics, gamers as competitors, extrinsic motivators that suggest people perform when under stress. Newer motivators are tend and befriend, self-determination theory, and they actually use the Quantic Foundry's motivation profiles, which I will link down below. And I'm so glad that they do, because when this study came out, I thought it was really groovy, and I'm glad to see it gaining traction. After all, as much as I love easy breezy, beautiful cozy girl games, it's really quite alright that everyone's into different things. But basically it says that rather than terrorizing gamers and declawing their way through games, people will be even more eager to play a game they have an emotional connection to. Remember when I said that feminine didn't mean for women? This is the kind of thing I was talking about. All genders benefit from feeling engaged in what they are playing. If you love Master Chief and feel like he's an old friend, that's just as real and meaningful as loving Scoutmaster Blake from Cozy Grove. This section's getting messy and convoluted, but I think this new emphasis on emotions and feminine gameplay is good, healthy, even, while making more room for the interest of traditionally feminine gamers like myself is wonderful. This isn't just for us. Everyone deserves a sense of community and a place to breathe without feeling shamed for it. So go on, play Elden Ring, but why not celebrate your loss to Malekith the Black Blade by taking a lap around Calico on your giant cat? Anyway, I think that's all I have to say for now about cozy games. Thank you so much for, oh, Beams the History! Here's where I actually get to talk a little bit about the games that are out there in this genre and recommend some of my favorite gems. Cozy games are commonly thought to have been born with the publishing of Harvest Moon back in 1996. At least that's what Google said. Harvest Moon, for those who are unfamiliar, was like the first farming sim. Harvest Moon made way for games like Animal Crossing, and the genre was off, but not like with a bang or anything. No, like a common theme to the games themselves, cozy games grew like a well-watered plant. Early Harvest Moon and Animal Crossing games had a small but loyal following. They're really kind of the only games in the genre for a while. Then The Sims started to creep in. Although it wasn't originally considered part of the genre, they were all under the simulation umbrella. And Stardew Valley happened.
I played too much Stardew today. 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 I played too much Stardew today.
Concerned Ape became the one hero to unite us all, bringing cozy games out of the games for girls gutter. Once people saw that an overtly soft, calm, touchy-feely sort of game made by a nobody in their home office could make absolute assloads of money, the race was on. And Animal Crossing blowing up at the start of the pandemic just launched that little sprout into a whole fruit tree for us to enjoy. Over the weekend, we took my 12-year-old niece swimming in the nearby river, and it was during this trip that she pointed out a really important key component to the rise and presence of cozy games. Romanticism is the act of delighting in and often characterizing mundane and everyday parts of life. Rain falling by a window and reading by candlelight. You see, before cozy games became a recognizable concept, Minecraft was popular, wildly so. It was still good and widely played by a large fan base, but it was only in conjunction with a resurgence in romantic ideals, an increased importance on aesthetic, and a rise in pastoral, feminine, and homey trends that Minecraft became cozy. It's always been a pillar of sandbox gaming, but now you cannot type Minecraft without coming across builds and mods catered exclusively towards creating a cute, cozy, and beautiful gaming experience. Obscure tunnels and dirt armories are out, cottages and hobbit holes are in. Minecraft wasn't a cozy game. Played on regular default settings, players could die, lose everything, and become horribly disoriented. And the peak of success is to travel to cube hell to slay a demon dragon. But because of its open and flexible nature with passive and creative settings, the community has made it cozy. The presence of players, romanticism, cubes, and pixels made it cozy. Without this love for little things in life and a deep appreciation for finding and making joy, cozy gaming is just gaming. And because romantic ideals can be applied to anything, just about any game that allows it becomes cozy. Gaming has become a cozy activity and developers are responding. Now we have a whole plethora of offshoots. One such game I mentioned is Calico. It looks terrible. It's so absolutely shamelessly sapphic and there really isn't much going on, but dang nabbit. But if you enjoy the ultra femme and just want to gobble up something self-indulgent, go be a magic cat girl. It's a hell of a good time. Do you really think that a game like this would even be allowed to exist outside of the cozy game movement? In 2012, this game would have been dragged into the streets and publicly executed. I'm really excited to see what this genre becomes and to have finally found a home in the gaming world that I feel fits me like a perfectly knit jumper. I'll always love my RPGs like Skyrim and Dragon Age, which allowed me to be cool and lovable, and hope to see more of those as well. But prior to cozy games, I was genuinely afraid that my love for gaming was about to die out. Everything coming out was becoming so difficult and serious. Cozy games brought that little gentle heart back, because now I have platformers where I can't die. Couch co-op coming to more and more games, and growing respect for those sorts of games I like to play when talking to my peers. It's made the whole gaming community just a little bit cozier, and for that I am delighted. Stay cozy, folks. Love, Ghost Wife. Thank you to my patrons. You are the reason I wake up in the morning. That's not true. That's not true. It's not that important. No, you don't need to pledge that much. No, stop. Don't open the tab. Don't open the tab. Stop.